What's up, everyone? It's your boy Chris K, and on today's episode of Texas Monsters, we're going to be speaking on a man who was on the Texas 10 most wanted fugitive list, charged for killing his girlfriend, but due to the pandemic, they did not indict this guy in time, and the judge let him out on a $50,000 bond. And he went on the run for 11 months, and he was just recently captured.
He was a private residence. We had game wardens and marshals in the woods. Matthew Edgar came out of the house, sat at a table on the porch, and was smoking a cigarette. We had confirmation that he was there. The additional units came in, and we arrested Matthew without incident and with no injury.
On October 31st, 2020, the Sabine County Sheriff's Office would respond to a call for assistance on Highway 83 East, 2 miles from Hempville, Texas. Deputies thought they were responding to an accident involving 2 vehicles, but upon arriving on scene, deputies found 19-year-old Livye Lewis inside a vehicle deceased. The cause of death was blunt force trauma and a shotgun blast to her neck and back. Police would also find Matthew Edgar around the same area as Livye, laying in a fetal position covered in blood. Matthew told police that he had been stabbed and needed medical attention. Matthew was taken to a nearby hospital, and Livye's body was taken to a medical examiner in Tyler, Texas. Matthew arrived at the ER and was quickly released after there was no stab wound found. Police questioned Matthew about what happened, and Matthew said all he remembered is that he was on the porch drinking, and then he woke up in an ambulance. Allegedly, Matthew started crying when he learned his girlfriend Livye was dead. On November 5th, 2020, police arrested Matthew Edgar and charged him with the murder of Livye Lewis with bond denied. 4 months later, Matthew was indicted by the grand jury for first-degree murder. On April 6, 2021, the First Judicial District Court in Sabine County, Texas, had a hearing on a motion to release Matthew on bail. It was argued that by law, if a person is not indicted by the 90-day deadline, then the person would be released on a surety or person recognized bond. Due to the pandemic, Matthew was not indicted by the 90-day deadline. And even though Texas Governor Greg Abbott waived the 90-day requirement, the Texas court ruled that the governor could not do this, and the district judge, Craig Mixon, set Matthew's bond at $50,000. Matthew was free after paying $5,000. A few months later, on December 16, 2021, Matthew walked into the same convenience store as Livye's mom, Darcy Bass. According to reports, the Sabine County Sheriff's Office responded to a call at 2 p.m. The report said Darcy attacked Matthew and broke his windshield at the gas pump, and she chased Matthew on foot as he was driving away. Darcy Bass would later turn herself in after Matthew filed charges on Darcy for assault causing injury, criminal mischief, and retaliation. Darcy told police that she lost it after seeing Matthew in public. She admitted going towards Matthew, throwing objects, and screaming, "You killed my daughter." Darcy also admitted to assaulting Matthew and damaging his vehicle. She apologized to the store clerk and the customers. Matthew Edgar has had a long history with getting arrested. In 2015, Matthew was convicted of evading arrest and detention causing serious bodily injury after 3 high-speed chases involving Matthew and police. The last chase ended with Edgar and the deputy crashing into each other. The officer suffered a broken leg and had to have surgery. Matthew sustained back injuries. Matthew was sentenced to 3 years of confinement and 3 years probation. After Matthew's murder charge in October 2020, Matthew would also be charged in 2021 for assault of a family member by impeding breath circulation. On January 25, 2022, the trial of Matthew Edgar began. Matthew pleaded not guilty to intentionally and knowingly causing the death of Livye Lewis by discharging a gun, striking her neck and back. The DA told the court that he had the burden of proof and all the pieces of the puzzle put together. He said Matthew killed Livye Lewis between 3 and 4 a.m. on October 31st, 2020. But it doesn't begin there, the DA said. On October 30th, 2020, the DA said that it began at a get-together at a mutual friend's house named Bobby. Matthew, his ex-wife Montana, and girlfriend Liv were all there. It was a strange relationship, said the DA. Liv was the reason for the divorce, but Liv and Montana had become friends. It was Matthew's weekend to have the kids, and Montana dropped one kid off at Bobby's, and Liv dropped the other child off at Bobby's. The DA told the jury that evidence would show that Liv and Montana planned to go riding around. They invited Bobby, but he declined. So Liv stayed at Bobby's and Montana left. As Montana was leaving, Matthew was standing at the back door and became enraged. Matthew began beating on Montana and her vehicle. Bobby restrained Matthew so Liv and Montana could leave, but Matthew followed behind both ladies. Montana went to her residence off Highway 83, and Liv went to Highway 83 and Don Prado Drive. The two kids were in the vehicle with Matthew, and he threatened to kill them all. Phones were submitted into evidence: Liv's phone, Montana's phone, and Matthew's phone that was wiped clean at his house. A text thread between Montana and Matthew, stored as baby daddy, would be revealed to the court. At 3:04 a.m., Matthew sent, "You're like Liv. You are trapped in my house. Neither of y'all can get past here." Montana asked if she could come to him, and Matthew replied, "No, you will die." Montana replied, "I haven't done anything wrong." Matthew blamed Montana for Liv staying at Bobby's house. 4 minutes later, Matthew sent, "You knew when I pulled up. Y'all knew I would watch y'all die with a smile on my face." At 3:34 a.m., Montana sent a message asking, "Where is Liv?" Matthew replied, "Dead." The trial would continue with multiple witnesses and officers taking the stand that day and the following day. On the third day, January 27, 2022, Matthew did not show up to the courtroom for the verdict. Even though Matthew did not show up to court, Matthew's trial continued. The jury would decide that Matthew was guilty, and Matthew received a 99-year prison sentence. After 11 months on the run, on December 28, 2022, Matthew Edgar was arrested on the back porch of a residence on 667 Richards Drive at approximately 8:30 p.m. Matthew did not resist and was immediately taken to the Sabine County Jail, and reports said there was 2 additional people at the home with Matthew. They were detained and later released pending further investigation. Matthew Edgar will be in court January 3rd, 2023 at 1 p.m. for a formal sentence. Now this story is wild. They had Matthew already charged for Liv's murder, and due to the pandemic, they couldn't indict him in time. Even with Greg Abbott signing that order, the Texas judge said that Abbott couldn't do that, and he gave this guy a bond. I don't think that's right. We don't know what he was doing in the 11 months that he was free. He could have hurt somebody else. And I just want to say, I commend Liv's mother, Darcy, for going after her child's killer. I can't imagine seeing my child's killer in the street free and not doing anything about it. So I commend her for that. Obviously there was people helping this coward Matthew stay hidden and run away, and where he wouldn't get caught, and hopefully they get in trouble for doing this. There was a lot of details in this case, and I tried to compact all the small details into a 10-minute video. If y'all would like to see me break down the whole case, just let me know in the comments below. It'll take a little longer, but I can get every little detail. And I appreciate y'all checking out this episode of Texas Monsters. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Thank you.